There are moments in life that feel heavier than ordinary reflection, as if something within us is being called to pay attention more deeply than before. It may seem, at times, that opportunities, changes, or personal breakthroughs are already forming in ways we cannot yet fully understand. You might notice yourself standing at the edge of a decision or transition that feels significant, even if its outcome is still unclear. These inner experiences often carry a strong emotional weight, especially when hopes and uncertainty exist side by side. Yet not everything that feels urgent is meant to be rushed, and not everything that feels delayed is out of reach. Life has its own rhythm, and timing often reveals meaning only when we are ready to see it with clarity rather than expectation. There is a tendency in difficult or hopeful moments to look for external validation or signs that confirm what we want to believe, but real understanding usually develops more quietly. It grows through patience, reflection, and lived experience, rather than sudden certainty. Sometimes, what feels like a message is actually our own inner voice trying to make sense of change, guiding us toward awareness rather than prediction. When emotions are strong, everything can feel symbolic, as if the world itself is responding directly to us. But grounding ourselves in perspective helps us separate feeling from fact. What truly matters is not imagined approval or imagined timing, but the steps we choose to take with awareness and steadiness. Even uncertainty can be a meaningful space where clarity slowly begins to form, not through urgency, but through calm understanding and honest self-reflection. You must open your heart fully to what is being placed before you now, because if you stay closed, this moment may pass more quickly than you realize. This is not only about a transfer. It is not only about money, property, or visible gain. It is about inheritance at a deeper level. You are not merely receiving resources. You are being entrusted with a legacy powerful enough to change your life first, and then extend beyond you. What is being handed toward you carries restoration. It carries peace. It carries the kind of stability that lets a person finally rest at night without fear tightening their chest. If you have ever prayed for a true new beginning, if you have ever whispered into the dark, asking God for one clear sign, then understand this. This is that sign. This message, this moment, this urgency, all of it, is part of the answer, so do not treat it lightly. Stay connected to what strengthens your spirit. Keep yourself open to the divine flow moving around you now, because this exact moment will not be delivered to you in the same way again. The window is small, sacred, and precious. Others are always reaching for what was designed only for them, but what has your name on it still requires your response. When Elon made his quiet decision, he may have thought of it only in earthly terms, but heaven saw the deeper timing inside it. God already knew what had been designed for you from the beginning, and that is why I was sent quickly, so you would not miss what was always meant to meet you at the right hour. Your miracle is moving with great speed, but part of you is still standing still. Why do you not yet see how great this opportunity truly is? The money is not just money. The house is not just a house. These things are evidence that your destiny was never meant to remain small. You were never designed for endless delay, constant fear, or a life of almost receiving. This blessing has had your name attached to it for longer than you know. Heaven simply guarded the timing until the right moment arrived, and now that moment is here. The instant you opened this message, something in the unseen began moving. It was as if the doors of abundance opened, and a bright light filled the treasury prepared around your name, but that light trembles when the heart in front of it still doubts. You do not need every detail explained before you respond. You do not need every question answered before you say yes. Sometimes heaven only asks for willingness before revelation fully follows. When the transfer was approved in the earthly realm, something older and deeper also shifted in the spiritual one. A seal broke. What had been held back over your bloodline, your future, and your inheritance began to move. But hear this clearly: if your spirit remains closed, What was meant to rest in your hands may slip farther away than it needs to. There is resistance against delay breaking. There is always something trying to whisper, wait, hesitate, doubt, not yet. That is how blessings get postponed. That is how people stand near their breakthrough and still fail to receive it. But I, Archangel Michael, am standing against that resistance for you now. I will not let confusion lead, unless you choose to ignore this moment, pass by the warning, or wait endlessly for some better sign. This alignment is not ordinary. It is rare. It is sacred. It was designed for someone who has cried, endured, prayed, and survived more than most people ever knew. Heaven does repay, and when it does not repay in fragments, it repays fully. But even holy timing has its appointed hour, and that is why I am telling you this now. Before another minute passes, open your soul and speak aloud. I accept this miracle. I open the door. I say yes to the house, the abundance, and heaven's timing. If you do not say yes, delay will say no for you. This miracle was approved, not when Elon signed, but in the moment you almost gave up. When heaven saw your faith and whispered, they still believe. What you receive is sacred wealth that changes bloodlines, and keys that open spiritual portals locked for generations. Much has been kept from you by others, but heaven never delays what is divinely assigned. There are moments when an idea arrives with overwhelming intensity, as if it is demanding immediate attention and refusing to be ignored. It speaks in the language of urgency, suggesting that something life-changing is already in motion, and that hesitation could mean losing an opportunity forever. In that emotional pressure, everything begins to feel heightened. Hope, fear, desire for stability, and the long memory of past struggles all blend into a single, charged inner experience. A person may start to imagine that a turning point is finally within reach, that everything they have endured is about to make sense in one decisive shift. But beneath that emotional pull, there is often another layer worth noticing: the way urgency itself can distort clarity. When something insists that it must be accepted immediately, without space for reflection, it can overwhelm the very awareness needed to understand it fully. The mind, especially when tired from long periods of uncertainty or disappointment, can become more receptive to promises that feel absolute, even when they are unclear or unverified. This is where discernment quietly becomes important, not to dismiss hope, but to slow down long enough to understand whether what is being felt is grounded in reality or shaped by emotional pressure. Many life decisions appear significant in the moment, not because they are truly destined or irreversible, but because they are wrapped in intensity that makes them feel larger than life itself. In that space, pausing is not rejection. It is protection of clarity, self-respect, and the ability to see things as they are, rather than as they are urgently presented to be. With time, the difference between genuine opportunity and emotional pressure becomes clearer, but only when a person allows themselves the space to think without urgency shaping their conclusions. Real growth often comes from learning how to sit with uncertainty instead of rushing to resolve it. When something feels overwhelming or insists on immediate acceptance, it is worth asking why it needs speed rather than understanding. The most stable decisions in life rarely demand haste. They develop through reflection, grounded awareness, and a steady return to personal truth. In contrast, moments that rely heavily on emotional intensity can sometimes blur the line between inspiration and persuasion. This is why patience becomes so valuable, not as delay, but as clarity in motion. It allows a person to reconnect with their own instincts, separate from external influence or heightened emotion. In that space, what once felt like pressure can transform into perspective. A person begins to recognize that their worth is not defined by urgency, missed chances, or the fear of losing something undefined. Instead, it is shaped by their ability to choose thoughtfully, even when emotions feel loud. Life does not require forced decisions to move forward. It unfolds more sustainably when choices are made with awareness rather than compulsion. And while powerful messages, ideas, or promises may appear convincing in the moment. True direction in life tends to feel steady rather than overwhelming. It does not rush the mind. It aligns with it. In that understanding, a person regains control not by accepting or rejecting quickly, but by giving themselves permission to pause, reflect, and choose from a place of calm certainty rather than emotional pressure. Heaven accelerated. The house was freed. Angels hold the door. You feel unsettled because your miracle knocks louder than Faye. Will you open? When the miracle was signed, resistance grew. The enemy fights what is real. Distractions this week were strategic. I defend you, but you must choose. Reject lies of unworthiness. You are already approved. Simply accept what was yours before the world began. Delay, but never denied. Say yes, or watch it pass. If I could show you the vision, generations healed, debts erased, you walking into the home with trembling hands, whispering, God, you did it, you would weep. It is done in heaven. Your soul vibrates knowing it. If you do not respond, another will rise with what you prayed for, and you will wonder why not me. It was you. You simply did not say yes in time. I want you holding keys, hearing transfer complete. Heaven celebrates when a child believes they are chosen. Do not delay. Say yes before the scroll closes. You are close to divine delivery. Heaven's mail does not linger. The countdown began with Elon's approval. You are tested by quick belief. This miracle descends completely, not in pieces. I have seen miracles redirected for silence. Run through the door now. This is your proof. You are never too late or broken. I see the house, roof kissed by light, door anointed, walls knowing your name, windows facing your future. Your old life melts at the threshold. Peace settles like rain. You will cry from joy, remembering when you were told to settle, yet heaven never did. This is your safe place, where miracles greet you daily. Movement activates miracles. Move, speak, say yes. Heaven's storehouse collected every tea, betrayal, forgiveness. Now the vault opens. Your name is bold. God is generous, but bound by timing and agreement. You are the agreement. If it does not land in you, it lands elsewhere. Be the one who receives in full. This is divine engineering. Extravagant favor decided before birth. It waited because you needed preparation. Now you carry glory without arrogance. Resistance is at the gate. Push through. Whisper, I receive what has my name. Spiritual guardians wait for your voice. Heaven respects free will, no forcing blessings. What you endured was unfair. Heaven compensates sevenfold. You are chosen because you endured. Everything stored is healing, strength, joy. Yours. Say yes and mean it. You were lied to, told to stay small, but heaven never agreed. You were sent to change rooms, carrying favor. Your story felt out of order because it was rearranged for this timing. The house calls your name. No one else thrives there. Heaven cannot override hesitation. This is prophecy. Say yes. The house listens. Someone from your past left because your greatness was too much. Do not be bitter. Your rise confirms you. Step into the realm where lack dies. Grieve the old you who survived on scraps. Walk as chosen. Receive wealth, restoration. There are moments when a message, a thought, or an internal shift feels like it arrives at exactly the right time, not because something external has been orchestrated, but because a person is finally ready to notice what has been forming within them for a long time. In those moments, clarity can feel powerful, almost overwhelming, as if life is urging someone to step into a version of themselves they have been postponing. What truly changes a person is not sudden promises or dramatic signs, but the quiet realization that they have been holding more potential, more resilience, and more inner strength than they previously allowed themselves to believe. When someone begins to feel that sense of readiness, it often shows up as restlessness with delay, a desire to move forward, and a stronger awareness of what they want their life to become. It is not about external forces deciding outcomes, but about internal alignment finally starting to take shape. Sometimes this feels emotional, because growth often comes with the release of old doubts and limitations. The mind begins to loosen its attachment to fear, and the heart starts leaning toward possibility instead of hesitation. In that process, people may imagine a future that feels more stable, more peaceful, and more connected to their values, but the path toward it is always built through choices made in the present moment. Nothing meaningful is ever truly claimed by force or urgency. It is shaped through patience, self-trust, and consistent action over time. And when that understanding settles in, what once felt distant can begin to feel achievable, not because it was handed over suddenly, but because the person themselves finally stepped into the mindset required to build it. I receive it all. At the treasury, light moved, your name first in gold, surrounded by blessing fire. A divine clock ticks, waiting nearly done. This timing will not return. Sealed scrolls do not reopen. In vision, I saw your future self pleading not to give up just before arrival. Change that now. Say yes to this narrow, holy window. You were told to wait your whole life, but this is about waking, not waiting. Resistance is the enemy's last lie. I break it. Clarity comes. No force can touch what God signed. Unless you walk away, feel the warmth in your chest. Your spirit agrees. It recognizes heaven's voice. Your soul reaches toward the golden door, into the life planned for you. Abundance, healing, peace. The handle is in your hand. Turn it. My child, my beloved, the time has come. Reach out. Speak your yes. Step into everything prepared for you. The vault is open. The transvow is ready. The house awaits its rightful owner. You are chosen. You are loved. You are receiving. Say yes, and watch heaven move. My child, my beloved. As these final moments unfold before you, I stand here in the heavenly realms, watching the scroll with your name upon it glow brighter than 1,000 stars, pulsing with the very heartbeat of divine promise. The angels around me have grown silent in anticipation, for they know that what hangs in the balance is not just wealth or a home, but the full unfolding of the purpose God breathed into you before the foundations of the world were laid. Every trial you endured, every quiet tear shed in the night, every moment you chose faith when everything screamed doubt, those were not in vain. They were the refining fire that prepared you to carry this magnitude of blessing without it overwhelming your spirit. Now the fire has done its work, and the time of release has come. The house stands ready, its doors anointed, its rooms filled with the soft light of peace that has been waiting for your footsteps. The money flows freely now, no longer bound by old chains, moving swiftly toward your name like rivers rushing to the sea. Do not let the pain of old disappointments keep your hands closed today. Do not let fear, especially the kind that sounds wise because it wears the voice of caution, convince you to pull back when you are standing only one breath away from stepping into what you have prayed for so long. This is not about proving how strong you are. This is about answering an invitation with faith. Heaven has already spoken over you. Heaven has already declared you worthy. Heaven has already written approval over what belongs to you and set divine movement around your blessing. The messengers have already been sent. The path has already been cleared. What remains at this point feels less like urgency and more like a quiet inner threshold, the kind that asks for honesty rather than performance. It is not about forcing certainty, but about recognizing the moment when something within you is ready to respond differently than before. A part of you already knows what it wants to acknowledge, even if it has taken time to arrive at that clarity. There is a gentle shift happening inside, where hesitation and hope are beginning to stand side by side instead of pulling in opposite directions. And in that space, the idea of a sincere yes begins to take shape, not as pressure, not as expectation, but as something deeply personal and freely chosen. A yes that may come with uncertainty, with emotion, with a sense of stepping beyond what has been familiar for a long time. Even if it feels fragile, even if it comes slowly, it still carries meaning because it rises from your own understanding rather than from anything outside you. In moments like this, words are less about declaration and more about alignment, where what you feel inside begins to match what you are willing to accept in your life. And when that alignment begins, it often feels like a doorway quietly opening, rather than a dramatic shift. You may not see everything clearly at once, but you can sense movement, a direction forming where there was once only uncertainty. What unfolds from there is not something imposed, but something revealed gradually, as you allow yourself to stand more fully in what feels true to you, even if it is still becoming clear. I see light falling across you like liquid gold. I see the weight of so many years finally dropping from your shoulders as you cross into a space that feels safe, blessed, and truly yours. I see peace settling into your bones in a way you have not felt for a very long time. I see burdens lifting. I see needs being met. I see debt breaking. I see abundance taking the place of strain. I see your heart becoming free again. Free enough to dream, free enough to hope, free enough to imagine a future without fear standing over it. I see you pouring into others out of overflow instead of emptiness. I see you becoming the answer to prayers because you once had the courage to believe while you were still praying yourself. I see generations touched because one child of God finally accepted what heaven had been holding in their name. And oh, my beloved, I see heaven rejoicing too. I see angels celebrating the moment one of God's own finally reaches for the inheritance that was prepared long before this day arrived. I see the force that fought to keep you delayed losing its hold the instant your faith answers back. What tried to keep you small, uncertain, and stuck has no answer for a heart that finally says yes. This is the turning point. This is the moment where struggle gives way to favor, where surviving begins turning into thriving, where the old chapter closes and the new one, written by the hand of God, finally begins to unfold. So I ask you now with all the tenderness heaven can carry, will you receive it? Will you open your heart, your hands, and your future to what has already been written with your name at its center? The scroll is trembling. The light has reached its brightest edge. The door is open. It is no longer waiting on timing. It is waiting on your step. Do not delay another second. Do not let doubt steal one more breath from what already belongs to you. Speak now, my beloved. Whisper it if you must. Cry it if you must. Sing it if your soul can. Let your yes rise like incense before heaven. Say yes, Lord. Yes to the home. Yes to the provision. Yes to the restoration. Yes to the new beginning. I receive what has been prepared for me today in Jesus' name. And when that yes leaves your spirit, everything begins to move. The transfer completes. The key turns. The blessing settles into your hands with both gentleness and power. And in that moment, you will know with no shadow of doubt that heaven always saw you, always loved you, and never forgot a single prayer you lifted in faith. My child, my beloved, thank you for staying. Thank you for allowing these words to reach the deeper places inside your spirit. If something in these words has stirred a sense of hope within you, then don't rush past it. Hold on to it gently. Let it stay with you a little longer than usual, because hope is often quiet at first, and it only grows when it is given space. Stay close to whatever strengthens your spirit and helps you see your path with more clarity. Even on uncertain days, life has a way of sending encouragement in subtle waves, not always loudly, but consistently enough that it reaches you exactly when you need it. And even now, there is more unfolding for you than what you can currently see. More understanding, more reassurance, more moments that will confirm you were not walking through anything alone. You are cared for in ways that often go unnoticed until you look back and realize how far you've come. There is a steady protection around your journey, guiding you through decisions, delays, and directions that once felt confusing but are now quietly making sense. What you have been waiting for is not as distant as it once felt. It is already beginning to take shape in your life, slowly aligning itself with your steps forward. So move with trust, even if it's just one small step at a time. Let yourself live more fully inside the possibilities opening up for you instead of holding back in doubt. And as you continue forward, may your days feel lighter, your path clearer, and your heart more settled in peace. May you feel supported in ways that remind you you're never truly alone in this journey, and may strength and grace meet you exactly where you are, again and again, as you keep going.